Hello, welcome to the Metal Pack Pod, the industry's leading podcast for the global metal packaging market. The Metal Pack Pod is brought to you by the Metal Packager, the number one digital resource for the global metal packaging market. With over 7,000 monthly users in over 150 countries globally, be sure to check us out on metalpackager.com. I'm your host, Alex Fordham, and in today's episode, we welcome Roeslein Associates, JC Harrison, who's Vice President of Systems and Operational Services, and Robb Williams, Director of Operational Services. During this episode, we update the industry on Roeslein's recent operational changes, and we discuss with JC and Robb the view on the current health of the industry. But before we begin the episode, we must give special mention to our sponsors, PPG. Their range of innovative and sustainable solutions help protect and beautify the world. Now on to today's show. Good morning, guys. Nice to meet you.
Morning.
Good morning, Alex.
Good to see you. And yeah, looking forward to an interesting conversation about the latest developments of Roeslein. I know JC, we've had a conversation last year, and I can't believe it's almost 12 months since we did the record last time. So I know time flies, doesn't it? Really. And Robb, yeah, looking forward to interesting conversation from your side. I know later on we'll get into the information about new operational hires and. Certainly with you being one of them, congratulations. It'll be interesting to see your approach to the changing sort of dynamic within the can making industry. But first off, from a Roeslein point of view, if you could perhaps give a brief overview about what's been happening during the past few months, and then we can take things from there. So who wants to begin?
I'll kick it off there, Robb. For Alex, again, we thank you very much for having us on, and we always look forward to talking to you. Yeah, Roeslein, we have definitely we've been happy to see that there's movement again in the canning industry, and we're looking forward to this year to hope that there's more movement. We have our other entities within Roeslein that have been keeping us plenty busy, but we've also been looking for ways that when the canning world fully engages again, we made a few changes, and Robb is one of them in his department. We've made significant commitments to really trying to help fill the operational services and training and other things that go along with actually making the can. We made some strong efforts, and we're ready for those efforts to go whenever the canning returns.
Robb, JC, just before I loop Robb in there, I know you mentioned about sort of green shoots of recovery. I'm just curious, really, is the kind of the dynamic of the industry, is this following a traditional pattern? Or has it been a case of the recent downturn has been a case of the growth we've seen within the industry the last few years? A case of what comes up must come down. I know speaking to some within the industry, they were surprised by kind of how the industry downturn was, how quick that kind of happened. Or was this something that you was expecting? Because I know a lot of your senior management team have been in the industry for a long time, so I'm guessing you've seen these sort of patterns. So yeah, I'm just interested to get your take on that.
Again, this is my take on that. So yes, we've seen the cyclic nature, as have you, Alex. This one was a little bit different. The climb was extremely steep, but we haven't had a pandemic since the 1910s or whatever, and so there was nothing really to base real knowledge on, and so we enjoyed the significant a tick up. But it came down quite almost as fast as it went up. And so I think things are settling back out, and we'll get into our normal things that all of us in can making are used to seeing, a rise and then a fall. And the sharp upticks and the sharp downticks, I think probably, hopefully they don't come back like that.
And Robb, is that something you subscribe to? Be interesting certainly to get your take on that. And then, we can get on to obviously the new operational hire side of things and how you're trying to approach the wonderful world of the can making industry.
Yeah, from everything that I'm seeing, I agree with everything that JC says. It does seem like, we've had some unprecedented times over the last 4 years, 5 years, and it does seem like the demand is still growing, and especially with the sustainability of aluminum packaging. So I do think we're really starting to see, especially just with requests that we're starting to get, we're definitely trending towards more and more business here as the year goes on. So I think 2025 is going to be a busy year, truthfully.
Excellent stuff. And yeah, if you can just go into a bit more detail about your role in director of operational services and what you're planning to bring to the role. I'm guessing it's trying to liaise with existing customers and existing can plants, but also try and build new relationships as well.
Yeah, so really exciting opportunity. We've got a team of guys, people on our team who have experience both in can making facilities as well as at OEMs. So we've got a nice wide breadth of experience from understanding the design and the implementation of the machines themselves, all the way to actually executing in plants, making cans, reducing spoilage, increasing efficiencies, things like that. So in general, the team that we've got, at least at Roeslein, is very new for us. It's been being built over the last 6 months, and we're still continuing to add heads and look at the market opportunities and figure out where our opportunities are. But in general, the strategy is that we want to have the expertise, the knowledge here internally to Roeslein, so that we can provide that as a service to both existing and future customers. So whether you're talking about an independent can maker or a very existing or a very established and large can making company, we are here to offer services so that we can help bridge the gap that may be being experienced or is being experienced in many cases with knowledge transfer, whether that's because of retirements or whatever happens to be the case. Harder to backfill people, harder to find people to work. That's what we're here to provide. So, some high level examples. This could be anything from performing machine audits to go in and look at existing equipment, help the manufacturer to understand where the opportunities are on a piece of equipment in order to speed up or in order to reduce some spoilage numbers, all the way to we've embedded our people at a can plants for the last several months. They're working alongside the existing people there. We're performing training, we're performing operational support, just trying to get them to a point where they can run more efficiently, basically. So it's very new for us. In the past, we've not been as engaged in this space as we are now. So it's something we're really looking forward to.
We interrupt this episode for a brief segment from our sponsors, PPG.
Packaging coatings from PPG draw on our company's 140-year history of innovation. We never stop improving our solutions to meet the evolving needs of can makers and the marketplace. That spirit of innovation results in technology like the cradle-to-cradle platinum-rated PPG Innovel Pro. PPG Innovel Pro is the latest enhancement to the world's #1 non-BPA beverage can coating. It still doesn't use any bisphenol ingredients, but experienced can makers report that it now sprays like an epoxy. Follow PPG Packaging Coatings on LinkedIn or visit packagingcoatings.com to learn more about why PPG is the coatings partner for can making excellence.
No, thanks for that overview. It's very interesting. I think this one leads me nicely on to my next question, actually, Rob. I mean, you mentioned that the team that you've been putting in place in the last few months has certainly been very, very valuable. But a recent press release, I know I mentioned that one of your colleagues, Jeremy Vigil, meant that he spoke about the fact there's lots of tribal knowledge in the industry, and that's a risk of being lost. So I'm just curious from a Roeslein point of view. So the team that you've got in place, is that primarily from individuals within the organization that's got multiple years of experience within the can business, or because of the issues of recruitment that you've just mentioned, are you looking to put together a team that has got experience of outside the industry as well to kind of pull talent and pull resources together? Or do you still think that this industry is very unique, so it's an industry you need to be in for a long time before you can truly understand it?
So we actually want to go down both paths, to be honest. But for the short term, we're focusing on people with experience specific to the can making industry. We think that's quite valuable. Obviously, we know it's a specialized industry, and bringing in people that off the bat can hit the ground running is really big for us right now because our team is not very large. So Long term, yes. Long term, we definitely want to be more well-rounded, I guess you could say. That actually makes it sound more negative than I want to, but yeah, long term, we definitely want to be able to bring in people that are new to the industry as well. We've been having a lot of conversations of how can we, even within our team, how do we do knowledge transfer in such a way that we can bring in somebody who's fresh out of school or fresh out of trade school or whatever, add them to our team and get them up to the speed that they need to be so that they can go out and provide that support to the customers that are out there. So that's definitely in the long-term strategy, but in the short term, yeah, we're focused primarily on people with several years of experience in the industry, and that's so far been quite successful. I'm very happy with the team that we've got right now, and we're still looking to fill a few more roles here in the next few months as well as the business continues to grow.
And JC, I just wanted to bring you in on this point. I know that the industry has always been seen as fairly mature market, so lots of people with fairly weathered workforce overall in the can making world. And about that knowledge transfer point, I mean, call me a skeptic or a journalist. It's one of those I'm at liberty to ask these questions. But do you think when people retire, they often take that knowledge with them, and unless they're asked, they kind of whether it's a selfish thing because they may look better when they retire, and the work they've been doing is maybe seen upon more favourably as they move on? And are there challenges as a business to try and ensure that there's like a mentoring program for new employees, or also the fact that when someone plans to retire, that they there's a proper handover operation that takes place? Because it's certainly when I'm speaking to can makers, that's an issue when you've got a large proportion of your workforce set to retire maybe within 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, I'll back up to one of your initial questions. I don't believe that the people who have been in this industry for so many years, and they hired me into this industry, 25 years ago. I've never seen anybody have the standoffish, for lack of a better word, attitude where they want to be seen as that person and not willing to share. There is sometimes where if you want to know, you need to come ask. That's a generational thing that kind of was a part of that generation. We'll teach you something, but you've got to come ask for it so that we know that you really want to learn this stuff. But moving forward from that generation to this newer generation, which we all know repair their own vehicles and their own troubleshooting stuff inside their own home via videos on the internet. And can making, as Rob mentioned a second ago, and Alex, you're fully aware of this, it is one of the most difficult containers to make. And so it's really difficult to just sitting in a training class and then walk out there and perform after a few years. There is hands-on mentoring. We like to call it shoulder-to-shoulder training. And the team that Rob and I and the team itself, because they've helped bring new people in themselves, they're physically able to, and they have the 10+ years experience, and they've proven themselves in the industry, and they're ready to get in there and sit next to these people and teach them side by side. And we're hoping, and I hope others in the industry kind of see that as the way to really teach this next generation. You have to get next to them and be patient. Some of us aren't always patient when we teach, but I think it's a great generation that's coming up, and I appreciate very much the worldwide emphasis on trades. And we believe that the canning industry and the manufacturing industry is going to see a shift back to that knowledge coming back, because everybody is welcoming the trades again, probably out of necessity, to tell you the truth.
Absolutely. I think the value of certainly apprenticeships and that sort of training, I think certainly seems to be more valuable these days, which is hopefully a benefit to the can making business. Just one point in terms of the next generation you mentioned there, JC. Certainly when I speak to my father's generation, they only really had sort of 1-2 jobs or working for 2 companies in their career, whereas the younger generation seem to, whether it's the increased globalized world that we live in, they tend to move on every 3 or 4 years. So is that a challenge for Roeslein to ensure that once you train someone that you keep hold of them for a period of 10, 15, 20 years, rather than training someone and then they take that knowledge with them?
Absolutely. And Rob, you can comment on this. But that doesn't keep us from fully investing in our people. If they get a better job offer somewhere else, we try to keep an open conversation with all our people who work at Roeslein, to the point where they can come talk to their managers and directors and say, "Hey, I've got this better offer. What do you think?" And if we see it as an actual better offer for that person, that helps their livelihood better and it helps their interests and their goals, then we hate to lose anybody, especially ones we've invested in, because they become like family almost to you. But that's the way it is right now. There's such a high need for this skill set. It's going to happen, and we try to, as much as it hurts, we also try to celebrate for that individual and the success that that person's fixing to have.
Yeah, Rob, you're nodding in agreement.
Yeah.
So yeah, you share that sentiment as well.
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, we would retain every single employee, and they would put in a great 20 or 30 years. That would be awesome. But yeah, the reality is, we experience the same problems that some of the can makers do too as well, right? Where they're having turnover issues, which is causing their knowledge transfer problems in the first place. So in general, though, that's why we're building a team of experienced people and documenting things as well. So that it's less painful whenever someone does move on. But yeah, in general, though, we definitely try to keep our employees as engaged and happy as possible. And if a move for them is what's best, then we wish them the best and don't burn any bridges, because you never know what's going to happen down the road, right? So.
Absolutely, you never can tell. But and then yeah, just to round things off, just interested some communications from Roeslein recently where you mentioned, Rob, that you believe in a holistic approach to can plant success. So I just wondered if you could expand on that in a little bit more detail, because I was just curious about this point.
Well, from our point of view, really, it's I guess the context of that question was, I think, along the lines of how we would go after issues in plants, and you can correct me if I'm wrong there. But in general, when we're going into a customer, especially a customer who's struggling with whatever the case may be, we go in first and actually just look at the entire system, right? So even though there's a customer we're working with right now who's been having some volume problems, let's say, but we're approaching that plant in particular, especially right now, not necessarily going after the primary thing that they asked for off the bat. We're going in and analyzing the entire system, right? So we're looking at, yes, where are your volume opportunities, but also, where are your spoilage opportunities? What's the life cycle of your equipment? What does your maintenance program look like? What does your inventory system look like? Where are the opportunities here to actually help you out? So in a big picture, and this isn't anything earth shattering, we're just making data-driven decisions, right? So we're taking a look at where are your biggest opportunities, and we're going after them. And that's in conjunction with the facility itself. So it's not like they're going to say, "Hey, we want you to come in and work on problem A, and we're going to turn around and work on problem B." But we are going to go back to the customer and say, "Hey, this is what you're asking for, but here's where we see the biggest opportunities, number one, number two, number three." And then working together with that customer, solving those issues and making them happy, getting them to a point where they're getting the service out of us that they need, and we're getting a satisfied customer. So.
No, that makes sense. No, thanks for clarifying that point. And just wanted to just concluding things. I mean, it seems like overall there's lots of positivity at Roeslein and as an industry as a whole. So do you both share that optimism for the health of the industry moving forward? So I know it's not that's probably a question that we could touch upon for a separate podcast, but just kind of your overall kind of vision for the future, and is that positivity moving forward?
Yeah, I'm definitely positive. The underlying currents that existed prior to the pandemic, with the move from single-use plastics to a aluminum container, those currents still exist, and they're just as strong as they were before the pandemic. And we go into convenience stores where we buy our gasoline, and we're hoping to see that the single-use plastics continue to drop, but there are still a lot of them, and the next generation would love to see those go away. And so we're here, the can makers are here, and we just need to continue to publicize how great our container is, and just be there for the customers.
And Rob, any concluding points from your side as well?
Yeah, I really agree. I mean, I wouldn't be here if that wasn't the case, right? So I enjoy the industry. I think it's got a great future ahead of it, and I do think that the business is just going to continue to grow. Obviously, I think the market got saturated over the last few years with as many expansions as there were, especially in North America. But I really feel like we're just on the cusp of another round of growth as the industry just continues to need to meet the demand of the customers. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's a wonderful point to end there. So we're on the cusp of more growth. So I like the sound of that. So JC, Rob, thanks very much for your time, and we'll speak to you soon.
Our pleasure, Alex.
All right, thank you.